Hello, everyone. Welcome to Regen Community Dev Call. Great to see everybody. We'll wait to get rolling for just a couple minutes as people trickle in. I will be exceedingly brief this week in terms of updates because I think mostly we want to just make sure that if there's questions or discussion that needs to happen in the lead up to Genesis at 1500 UTC tomorrow, we have plenty of space for that. I see a good representation of awesome validator community here, so we'll just make sure to leave plenty of space for folks to dig in if questions. All right, I'm going to just kind of plunge ahead so that we have plenty of time for discussion. So let me just bring up my screen share here, and I'll dig in. Okay. So welcome to the Community Dev Update of April 14th, 2021. We are a little less than a day from mainnet launch, which is at 1500 UTC on April 15th. So yeah, very excited. You may have all seen this little graphic on our Crowdcast. If you haven't already signed up for the Crowdcast, do so and invite your friends if you want, just to live cast. It'll give us an opportunity to just have a place to gather while this is all happening, so people can be there, have it running while you're bringing your nodes up, or if you're delegating, we'll be live casting from the Block Explorer, so people will be able to just see as things get up and running and hop on Kepler and start making your delegations as we bring the network live. Yeah, just reminder to 1500, you can go to the mainnet repo on regen.network and everything is there. There's gRPC endpoints and peer information. There's the Genesis file, of course, everything you need in order to get things up and running. And then the rest of this is, sort of the usual. If you're interested, there's still Gitcoin bounty up. There's the Riddle-a-thon taking place. So this is all just sort of community engagement opportunities. Please, if you're a validator and you haven't already, go register. There's a link in the announcements channel for a form. I will, or Dan will probably put this back up again, but you can fill out this form and it fills a page on the forum. So delegators can understand a little bit about your operation as a validator. Eventually, we're going to actually, in the same way we have a really cool sort of registry and profile page for land stewards, we're going to do the same for validators so that there's sort of a registry of validators for the community. At the moment, this is what we got. It's still pretty good, I think. Just as a way for people to get to know you. So if you haven't already, go fill that form out and let the community know about your operation, about what you're going to be, ways that you plan on engaging the community, etc. This is our way to link validators and delegators. As always, you can check out the roadmap for updates and share that with people if they're interested in what's going on. You check out the Google Calendar just to stay up to date on things. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Very brief overview because I just wanted to make sure that there is plenty of time for questions, comments, and conversation in the lead up to mainnet launch. So I'll take a pause. Feel free to, thanks for putting that in, Mircea. Yeah, feel free to either type questions in the chat or just bring yourself off mute, and we will let the conversations commence.
I had a quick question about the form that you mentioned. There's a question in there if we're working to engage a broader community, which is a bit broad, I guess. Not really sure what you guys are looking for there.
A great question. So this is where we're wanting information about, I mean, both ways that you might be thinking about sort of bringing Regen Network out into the world, but also, are you engaged with other networks? Are you building complementary code or have different engagements that are complementary and synergistic with Regen Network?
Got it.
So
Cool.
I think for informal, you all are engaged in, the Cosmos ecosystem broadly. There's a bunch of things going on. So it's your opportunity to just sort of share about the community that you're building and how that intersects and complements Regen Network.
Got it. Thanks.
Thanks for that clarification. Maybe we'll edit that a little to make it more clear. What moment can we delegate tokens for staking? The percent, I believe in the Block Explorer, there is a percent fee. So you'll be able to see that as you're making delegation. You should be able to make delegations as soon as the first block gets going. So as soon as the first block is going, you could get on Kepler and you can start making your delegations. And I am correct, Anil, that Anika has the commission fee information for validators, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Anil, can you just throw a link to the Block Explorer up in the chat there?
We just have Freelance Explorer for now, but I can share to you.
Is it going to be the same Explorer? Is it the same URL? Yeah, you're putting in the pre-launch. So what will will it just be mainnet.regen.anika, or what's the URL for?
It will be regen.aneka.io.
Okay. Great. Other questions or concerns? Everybody feeling pretty confident and
yeah, I have a
excited,
question, guys. Is it
Daniel?
technical questions accepted here?
Yeah, definitely. Technical questions
Yeah,
are welcome.
I've been asking this in Discord already, but my current state is like all nodes halted at starting PP row server. And as I see, the RPC server, HTTP RPC server is not up yet. And I see like this same on my Sentry nodes and same on validator. And I don't know if the RPC should start now or it actually waiting for Genesis because it's happened on some blockchains. And I don't know how it's on Cosmos because I never run Cosmos on pre-Genesis stage. It's like I have no experience on pre-Genesis.
RPC won't be available until the chain starts.
So RPC will not be available, right?
No, the chain will have to start. And as soon as the first block is going, you'll get RPC.
Yeah, this is what I expect. Thank you very much because I'm looking for this answer. Nobody answer. Yeah, good. So I'm ready. I think it's all good here.
Thanks for that question, Daniel. I'm sure other people had that question too. Anything else?
Weird, it's weird because in GitHub, like it say like check regen status, and you cannot check regen status because RPC is not available. But nobody asked that question. I don't know. We cannot check status now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's no status to check because the blockchain's not running yet. So.
Yeah, maybe add this to documentation in GitHub. Maybe somebody will stuck at the same point.
Yeah, good idea. Noted. So maybe we just add a little sentence there about, yeah, status. Eddie, it's going to be just regen.anika.io for the block explorer. That's going to be associated with the mainnet. Yeah.
I have nothing to add. I just want to tell you guys congrats on the few years of work, and I'm excited that tomorrow is the launch of the mainnet.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. We're really excited too.
Same here. So how many submissions did you receive for validator nodes? I expect some of them to be like online validators and some of them will be like standby, right? Depending on how the delegations will happen.
Yeah, yeah. So there were 77 or 78 submissions, and so there's 50 validator seats that are active. So there certainly will be some on standby in the inactive set. We definitely would encourage people who don't immediately get into the top 50 to sort of keep your node up and running. It is going to be a little challenging for people to delegate outside of the top 50 because of the way that Kepler works. And we've submitted a request for them to, expand their functionality for a delegator to be able to see the nodes that are not in the active set and choose to delegate to them. That is currently not a functionality that's supported by Kepler. So in order to delegate outside of the active set, you need to use CLI. Regen CLI. We are going to be providing documentation in case people want to delegate outside of the active set, and we're going to, as quickly as possible, help, try to work with Kepler to support that function. If you all remember, if you're, in the Cosmos ecosystem like me, I remember that Looney had that functionality. Unfortunately, Looney is not supported anymore. So, yeah. But, I think people are going to be moving in and out of the top 50 for a little while, right? I know some people had set very low self-delegations and therefore are not in the initial 50 that's already there is already a 50 that you can sort of see. But they may subsequently have more to delegate to themselves. And then, R&D is going to do delegations. People who own staking tokens are going to do delegations. So there's going to be sort of movement, I think, for obviously for quite some time. It's a public network, so people will come in and people will go out.
Yeah. Any bets on how much time we will have for the mainnet to launch? Any estimations here?
That's a good idea. We should have a pool. We should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say 30 minutes maximum.
Yeah. Anil?
I expect it to be less than 5 minutes.
Woohoo!
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right. 10 seconds. We have 10 seconds, less than 5 minutes, and 30 minutes. All right. This is it's a good spread.
I'll take between a half a minute and 2 minutes.
Yeah. Dan, you're on mute.
Oh, I muted myself. Yeah. If the testnet is any indication, I'm thinking it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. It should happen quickly. That's one of the reasons why we had a fairly low maximum self-delegation of at the initial set, because that enables, we won't be hung up waiting for any big, chunks. So we should be able to get up and running pretty quickly. Thanks to Anil for thinking that through and suggesting that.
And do we have any timer for the launch published anywhere?
Yeah, so you can check out regen.network/mainnet. I will share my screen real quick.
Actually, the every page on regen.network has the countdown timer at the top of the page.
At the top too, as well, yeah. So we got a countdown timer. You can see here, counting down to 1500 UTC.
Wow, 21 hours. Exciting.
Woohoo! Yeah. The day has come.
Literally, yeah, the day has come.
And the Crowdcast event is going to start an hour before mainnet launch. Is that correct? And then
Yeah.
it's going various hours after mainnet launch.
Yeah, it ended up getting a little longer, you know, just different voices and people and wanting to have different, you know, opportunities. Even then I was like, man, I want these people and those people and everybody to talk, but it's like, it's still, you know, it's a lot. So it's the positive side of having a big community, I guess. Yeah, so I think we're almost at a 4-hour show length. People are obviously very welcome to sort of come and go. We've tried to publish the discrete sort of events. So, you know, if you're interested in tuning into the validators talking, or, you know, maybe land stewards chatting, or our science team giving a presentation, there's sort of separate segments that are sort of going to be going through, but the crowdcast will just be one long crowdcast. So, you know, you can sort of sign in and, you know, you put it on mute if you got to get to other work, and, you know, put it in the background and then bring it back up if you've got attention to tune back in to what's happening. We're also going to be, of course, recording it. It's going to be live. Both, you know, there'll be the crowdcast, which enables us to chat with one another. It will be recorded, so we'll publish the segments, and also it's going to be going out on YouTube and Facebook. So if, you know, people want to just like tune into the live stream and share those links, you're welcome to.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely going to send those links to folks who I've told a little bit about what I'm up to, and they're like, what? That's, I think I need, because sometimes that conversation takes 2 or 3 hours just to explain, okay, so what are all the pieces here? So having a 4-hour show doesn't surprise me. I think it takes at least that long to start understanding what's going on here.
Yep. Yeah, I always say, people always ask if I give them an elevator pitch, and I always say, nope, you got to take the stairs.
Awesome.
All right. Other questions? Technical, non-technical?
Yeah, sure. I take another approach. I want to ask about Prometheus endpoint, because like I think it's in the same boat with RPC now. It doesn't start yet. All right. I can see Prometheus starting.
I'm not sure I'm understanding.
The Prometheus.
Tendermint can report data with Prometheus standard, right? And we have this in config. You can set Prometheus to true, and then it's like endpoint should be available. But currently it's not available.
Anil, are we gonna have a Prometheus endpoint for that then, or?
No, that should be available. Maybe I can cross check. But
okay.
It is available, but it's possible it does the same thing as the RPC endpoint. I'm not actually sure about that, but it
no, it's completely different things. Yeah, I'm trying to get this Prometheus data so I can scrub the Sentry nodes and a validator and like put into Grafana later. I tried this on mainnet, on a testnet previously, but I didn't got the endpoint for Prometheus, and I don't know why. Maybe some tweaks need to do in telemetry, but I'm not sure. The Prometheus set to true in config right now, but it still doesn't work.
So I'm not sure if it's going to work until the chain starts, but it does. It worked in our RC3 for sure. Like we've been using it throughout. So it's not like it's functional. I'm not sure if it starts before the chain starts.
So
Yeah, it won't
do
be
you
available
make
till
any
then.
tweaks in telemetry?
Sorry, say that again.
In telemetry, do you make any adjustment for Prometheus, or it's just by default should work?
It's by default. You have to set it to true.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Else,
I will hope. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, everything else is by default.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Yeah.
It probably turns on after Genesis launch. We've used Prometheus and RPC for monitoring, so it should be fine after launch.
Super cool. Yeah. Woo.
All right. Great. Keep them coming. If people have more questions, don't be shy.
Somebody on, I think it was on the Discord chat, somebody mentioned a different network that started up recently and faced a very large denial of service attack at launch. And I wonder if anybody could talk about that, or like how has launch gone for other recent launches, and what kinds of challenges or difficulties, errors, or attacks might we keep an eye out for in tomorrow and in the first couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a quick, overview, but maybe I'll pass it over to some of the other folks in the community who will have a, deeper, can take it a layer deeper. I believe that what you're referring to is the mirror protocol launch on Terra.
I think it was the Anchor launch that got,
Anchor.
Anchor.
Yeah, Anchor launch on Terra. And there's definitely a couple substantial differences between, the two launches. The biggest of them being, our tokens are almost all locked at launch. And they had, they were sort of like trying to start with some pretty active trading. So there's like, in a way, maybe there's sort of less at stake at the moment, because we're sort of slowly building, through governance, and we're sort of like big. This is a big threshold, but we still have other thresholds to sort of bring the network up to full operation. I think if people, the best way to prevent those, my understanding of the best way to prevent those DDoS attacks is through having a, setting minimum fee and gas so that you can't just get spammed. Because somebody was able to take advantage of zero fees or very low fees to push a lot of transactions through the network. Yeah.
And also they had an economic incentive to delay everyone else from getting their transactions in so they could benefit from the higher APR in the beginning.
Yeah.
Validator set raised their fees, the attack stopped.
So make sure you have min fee set. Make sure you don't expose your RPC endpoint to the world unless you really know what you're doing.
Okay, I thought we were being asked to set minimum gas prices to 0 initially to make things easier to make a delegation possible, or can you clarify that? Because you're saying set them up, but maybe setting them doesn't matter because we don't have transfers. So what's
so we we ended up airdropping everyone one regen to cover transaction fees and gas, just to make sure that everybody has enough to delegate, because and we did that because actually Kepler doesn't support zero fee transactions as a choice. So even if we had people sort of keeping a zero fee, validators keeping zero fee for a moment to just let everybody submit their delegations, get delegations, and then be earning rewards and be able to use those rewards to, pay for fees and gas. We were still sort of in a situation where either there needed to be an upgrade to Kepler, which they were very on top of trying to do, but then there's dependencies around the app store and other things. So we just thought that the easiest thing to do was to just give everybody one region so that, gas and fees can be paid for in order to do delegations. So that's, transactions are still not enabled as a network. So the only thing that region can be used for is, to, delegate essentially and participate in governance. Those are the types of transactions that are enabled when we go live. So yeah, so set your fees. There was a conversation in the validator channel I saw. Anil gave a suggestion of, I think it was 0.025 U region to start as a fee. So if you just set a minimum fee, that's a great thing to do. Good practice.
Cool. Okay, thanks for the update and clarity about that.
Corey or at all, does anybody else have anything to add there?
That makes sense.
Okay, so just to clarify, we're starting with transfers being disabled at this point, right?
That's correct. Transfers are disabled until we as a community enable them. Yep.
Got it.
And this, I mean, what you've described is an on-chain attack. Are there experiences with just general attacks, not via the actual software itself?
Those are more related to your setup and what you're exposing to the internet. It's not chain specific. For Cosmos SDK chains in general, if you open your RPC port to the world, you can get, your node can be kicked out of sync by lots of RPC requests. It's not even that high of a number. So the rule of thumb is don't open it unless you really know what you're doing, or you have a specific IP that you wanted to access it, or in general, just don't.
Right, and that's off by default?
No, the RPC, well, by default, it will listen to your local host. You have to specifically modify config toml to have it listen to all interfaces. But just in case you're doing monitoring or anything like that, and you do use it, make sure that it's not exposed to the internet.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Another thing that could be considered, I guess it's an attack, is if someone posts like a fake Genesis file or like maliciously changed software, just make sure you get the Genesis file from a trusted source and also the proper software. That's another vector.
I mean, the only source should be the GitHub repo, and you should checksum any Genesis that you run. So checksum it. Also do a visual inspection, just in case. But never download it from anywhere else unless it's straight from the Regen GitHub repo. Don't touch it.
Right.
Any other suggestions from folks who've done, who this isn't your first mainnet launch rodeo?
I make a pull request to GitHub actually to enable the service because it's missing. I think the service should be enabled in case this server restart and the service is just not gonna run after it.
Actually, for the first time, it shouldn't matter because when you just reload, it should work. If you are editing some existing service, then you should get to enable it. But anyways, that won't make any issues. Maybe I'll just merge that PR.
Yeah, it's just a good practice to enable anyway. Like
server restart and you just lost.
I'm curious to know who will mine the first block actually.
We could have another pool for that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Let's make it like something nice, cool. Make an NFT out of it. The first block on Regen.
Yeah, well, and we could, a pool is not a bad idea. Maybe we'll think about this, and Dan and I'll put something in the Discord channel. Maybe it could be, we all pledge some amount into the pool, and then the winner gets to choose what ecosystem to invest the money to or something. And for the time, like if you get the exact time, and whoever, maybe there's another prize for whoever ends up minting the first block. I like that one especially because it gives some incentive to just bring your node up quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And maybe
Let's not divorce each other.
And maybe do something cool, like with a memo or something, with like a cool message. I don't know, maybe the mission or the vision of Regen or something to have there at the start. Yeah.
In the first Genesis block?
In the block, yeah.
I don't know. We can't really edit the Genesis file anymore, but whoever, yeah.
You guys didn't add cool memos in your GenTXs? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. We need a cool memo in the GenTX. Something about.
We added happy birthday Regen because I'm not that creative.
Awesome.
I think the first proposer would be the validator with the highest voting power at Genesis. I think, or at least if they miss it, then maybe it's the second guy. A suggestion for the validator is, I guess, after Genesis launch, after the Genesis time, you can check your RPC and make sure your node has peers. Because even though the block hasn't been produced, you can check whether your node has peers and it's signing. You can check consensus state and make sure it's receiving signatures. Because the rest of the network might start signing, but you wouldn't even notice. You think your node is still waiting, and you're just like, the train left, and you're just there sitting without peers. So that's something I suggest.
That's a great image. Somebody just sitting alone.
We're gonna get some seeds later, right?
There's a seed in the instructions right now, and a seed and a persistent peer. Should be 2 persistent peers actually.
Yeah, they was to be announced. I will check again.
Just to double check, I'm guessing that it's a bad idea security wise and also performance wise for one machine, say, obviously not the main validator node, but for a Sentry node to be connected to both the mainnet and the devnet? Or is there anybody who does that or thinks it's a good idea? Because I ask because my plan is to set things up on the devnet just to have a run through of like, okay, so this plan that I had, like the architecture that I'm aiming for is working on the devnet, and then make sure that it's running the same on the mainnet. But right now I'm thinking I need to do that on separate machines, or is there anybody who runs devnet and mainnet on the same machine for any of the nodes?
No.
Yeah, you probably should.
Mainnet and devnet on the same machine. Yeah.
You could technically you could do that as long as there's no conflicting ports, 2 services running. I guess if it's a Sentry, right, and you want to multi-use, you want to have a VM with multiple uses, right, and you want to run sentries of multiple networks on it, I guess you could do that. I mean, it's possible. It's probably not recommended.
Okay, then I'll stick to my plan.
All right. Well, we're just a little bit past the top of the hour here. If there are, it doesn't seem like there's any urgent technical or other sort of conversations or support that's needed. So given that, I think we'll call the community, we'll adjourn the community meeting, and we'll see you all tomorrow at 1400 UTC if you want to join the show as you're getting ready to bring the network up together. And we'll sort of do the live launch, and yeah, just look forward to being a part of history with everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Yeah.